What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by AUTOBAHN. My name is Martin, and today I'm taking a look at this, the 2024 BMW M135i. This has been completely revised. Well, it's not an LCI, that's coming later this year, but the M135i, BMW eventually agreed with us, did need some upgrading, because like 4 years ago, 2019, we tested the very first M135i F40, and there was a lot good about the car, but there was also a lot wrong about the car. So in the same year, 2019, they still made the F20 previous 1 Series, the M140i. Now that is very hard to make a successor to, because they needed to make one with a 4-cylinder. I mean, we knew back in the day, 2019, that it was going to end for the M140i. Even then, a 3-liter straight 6 in a hatchback was pretty much insane. And then came this, the F40, and it was lacking on all fronts when it comes to the M aspect of this car. So we even had someone at BMW internally who said, yeah, M135i, that M stands for marketing. So that was a bit painful to hear, but it really felt like that. I can remember Max saying, like, it's not an M135i, it's an 135i, and it's a good 135i. It's a good fast 1 Series. It's just not an M performance model. So BMW has done a lot to improve on that. So the whole suspension setup, control arms, rubbers, mounting points, everything has been revised. We have a lot more camber, so we should get a little more of a sharp steering. So it all looks the same, but internally it does feel a whole lot different. So the engine is the B48, so the 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, 306 horsepower, 450 newton meters. Now, especially that torque number 450 is quite high. I mean, a Golf R has 420. It's a really beefy engine, this, really low down, lots of torque. It's almost like a nice diesel, which I really like, and it really contributes to that ultimate 1 Series feeling. So it's paired to an Aisin 8-speed gearbox, so not a ZF 8-speed like with a 330i. So 4 years ago we said just have the 330i, because, you know, it's a rear-wheel driven car, does have that ZF 8-speed. Yes, it does have like 40 horsepower less than this, but in every other aspect it's a better car. So essentially this is a mini platform. You know, they developed this for the 1 Series and the Mini. So the basis is a front wheel drive car. We just have a clutch that sends power to the rear when the front can't handle it anymore. So it's the complete opposite of what the 1 Series F20 was. If you got that with X-Drive 4-wheel drive, it was essentially a rear-wheel driven car sending power to the front if it was too much for the rear axle. So it's completely the opposite. And let's take off my jacket. It's super cold out today. Ugh. So I personally own a 2019 M140i F20, so one of the latest ones produced. And I have to say the F40 1 Series does feel a lot more luxurious and better built. Build quality, you know, is a big thing with the F Series cars, I think. The G Series really feel a lot more beefy, a lot more durable, and it's the little things, you know, like this visor is now electric. The rear hatch is electric. Everything just feels and looks solid. Not really exciting design wise, but very durable, and it feels like it will last for decades. So that's really, really good. So the little 4-cylinder comes to life. So this Aisin 8-speed gearbox is a torque converter gearbox like a ZF 8-speed, but unlike the competition, because the AMG A35, the Golf R, the Audi S3, those all have dual clutch gearboxes. But I think a modern torque converter automatic can be as good and involving as a dual clutch. So the problem with the previous Aisin 8-speed, like with the first M135i's and especially with the X2 M35i and the Mini Countryman JCW, which I used to own, was that with full power upshifts it couldn't handle going into the next gear. It would like jolt, and it wasn't a very pleasant experience. So I really hope that after 4 years they have fixed that, and let's just pop it into sport mode, and the same for the gearbox and the ESC system. Give it some throttle. Wow, that is a big difference. That is a snappy upshift. Feels totally different. So yeah, great job on that front. Downshift also seems a bit quicker. We are on winter tires and quite crappy ones today, so it's quite hard to judge the improvements when it comes to the handling, but this feels quite dead to me, both the steering and the suspension. But you know, judging a car's handling when it's on winter tires is undoable, if you ask me. So we're not really going to focus on that. Maybe later on the Autobahn we can judge if it's a little more stable, because back when Max tested this car in 2019 he complained about it being unstable at higher speeds. So for some reason launch control is not working. It might have something to do with the mileage on this car, which is only 1500 kilometers. Could be so that it's activated later. So we're just going to turn off ESC altogether, and it should do a 4.8, and I'll tell you guys what it actually did after this launch. Oh, that is a quick upshift and an aggressive upshift. Really like that. So yeah, it's faster than what they say. We did a 4.56, so it's quite a lot faster than they say, and you do really feel like that. The car really feels very quick. So the handling of the car, you know, it's a stable, constant flow, but it's not really involving, it's not really exciting, it's not really M-like, which it should be, right, since it's called an M135i. Well, luckily we also have the 128 Ti, which is a sportier car than this. It's basically the same ingredients but without X-drive and a little less power, but you know, in a dynamic sense it really contributes to having that sporty vehicle. So in my opinion that should be like an M128i, and this should just be a 135i. it is very good at that, being the fastest 1 Series. It's so solid. It's a rock solid car to drive. It's just not exciting to drive. It's a very efficient, capable vehicle, and I really like it in that sense. The drivetrain now really is what it should have been 4 years ago, and I really like the fact that BMW did this, even though we didn't have an LCI yet. So apparently they do have that reflection, that upshift. Wow, that really is impressive. As I said, I used to own a Countryman JCW with the same drivetrain, same power figures, but I got rid of that car because of the stupid gearbox. But now in this, I think it's a really quite good gearbox. I really quite like it. So, did they also improve on the straight line performance? Well, yes they did. So with the previous, I'm calling it the previous M135i because it feels like that, but it's not. The 2019 M135i, let's call it that, did a 13.7 100 to 200. This did a 12.95, which is nearly a second quicker without doing anything, right? It's the same car. Well, it should be the same car, but it doesn't feel like it. It's really impressive what they did. It's come alive. It really feels like that. So the F40 M135i now really is a car you could seriously consider. Performance is really impressive. It's a nice car to live with. You have these fantastic bucket seats. There's not a lot to dislike actually. It's quite a good car. I'm not sure if BMW has done updates to the earlier models to make it as good as this. I mean, suspension wise, of course they didn't, but this drivetrain does feel like a different car. Maybe it's also us, because we're now used to having 4-cylinder BMWs that used to be 6 cylinders. It was a bit painful having that transition period, which 2019 definitely was. But you know, even at high speeds, Max complained about it being unstable, but even on these 205 winter crappy tires, it's good, it's stable. So I think the suspension changes they made really have been successful. They haven't made it an exciting car to drive, but you know, stability is good, performance is good. I like it. I mean, we're still no match for this mighty C63S, but then we should bring the M3 Touring, right? So guys, thank you for watching. Hope you like this video, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. If you have a cool car, send us an email, and see you at the next one. Bye.